Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching us this evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Motivation with Frank Saliki on TV Bakwetu. Today, I'm joined once again with the one and only Chilufya Kachingwe, aka Napsa. We tried to do the interview last week because of network signal. We could not finish the interview, but we're glad the man is back again. Good evening, Chilufya, and welcome to TV Bakwetu.
Good evening, Mr. Saliki. How are you? And thank you.
I am very, very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm not okay. We are mourning. I'm sure you've heard of the Anna storm that has claimed a lot of lives. A lot of property has been torpedoed, carried away by the rains, lives lost. So let me take this opportunity as well to commiserate with the families that have lost property and their family members.
Thank you very much, and everyone on TV Bakwetu share those sentiments as well in this very difficult time, and we hope the good Lord gives you strength to go through this very difficult moment in time. Thursday night is all about motivation, and one thing that I've been looking at is finding young people who have come through not such a successful, not such a wealthy background, and who are doing something with their lives to empower our young people. So I looked for Chilufya because I've seen his work and I've seen his journey. And this evening, Chilufya, really what we're going to start from where we started last week. Just start from the beginning. So you did not grow up in a very rich family. You grew up in I'm trying to pronounce it very, very properly because I know a lot of people are waiting to say I was going to, you grew up in Chibombo. And if you can just describe your childhood for us, was it a rich one? What did you have growing up?
My journey has been what I would call as a labyrinthinical or octopoidal journey. It's been full of crankam situations, hula baloo, topsy turvydams. It's been a life full of economic sciatica, social radiculopathy. In simpler terms, what I'm trying to say is that it's been a hard journey, looking at the genesis or the fonset origo of my well-being. My parents passed on, rather my mother passed on when I was still a boy at the age of 9. My father as well couldn't take full responsibility of me, reasons best known to himself. So we are taken under the care and grew up under the tutelage of our grandmother and father. Therefore, those are the people that we've known to be as our parents. But all in all, precisely and concisely, it was never an easy journey.
If we're able to just describe some of the things. So for you, education became really, really important. Can you just describe a moment where education became something that you do? At what age did that become so important? And how was it so different for you compared to other people growing up in the village?
Like I said, growing up in an area with so much topsy-turvydams or problems, education wasn't a thing that we envisaged that one day would take me out of such problems and take me to the area of epicureanism or hedonism, or in simpler terms, the paradisiacal environment of what I am today. The environment was that harsh that out of the 17 siblings that we had at our home, none of them used to attend school. And when the idea came into my medulla oblongata or my medulla cununcunus or my mind that I venture into this educational peregrination together with my brother, who I've always drawn inspiration from. He's been a brother, we've grown up together. It wasn't easy because people looked at us to be those peripheral figures, peripheral Homo sapiens that would never even lay their phalanges onto a book, or that would never embed their mindset or their mind onto a book. Everyone deemed at us to be typical farmers without a future outside the box of Chibombo soils. So growing up in Chibombo wasn't an easy thing. But as usual, like I said in the inquiry or in the previous interview that we had last time, I said I've also drawn my inspiration from my grandfather, who at least had tinges and tinctures of education, going as far as standard 3. So at least he had that inculcation of academics in his medulla oblongata. So I could learn from him day and night, time without number. He could talk about education, ask us what we'd want to be when we grow up. At times, he could even mention things that we never even used to understand. But all we knew was that in every predicament, there's a wherewithal. And at the end of every tunnel, there's the will o' the wisp, or there's a light. So to me, education was the only panacea, was the only recourse that could see me out of those crinkam, crankam, or hula baloo, or higgledy piggledy situations that surrounded me. So therefore, I needed to put more effort, because that was my own indaba, that was my own problem, my own situation. So for me to get out of that, it was really out of the drive that was in me. But it wasn't easy, because the only source of inspiration that we had, apart from my parent, which is my grandfather, was just the teachers. So you could see how we lacked much inspiration.
You just mentioned there, God, I didn't know this bit. So you had your grandparents were looking after 17 of you.
Oh yeah, it was an extended family. You know, as an autochthonal Zambian, it's a pity that you are now in the UK and you've forgotten certain attributes of life in Zambia. It was an extended family. My grandmother and my grandfather had that big heart to look after a lot of people. And some of the people that we stayed with were not even our relatives, but out of their benevolence to take care of humanity, they could cover for almost everyone. So we stayed more than 17 of us. And out of all those, it's only me and my brother that took the educational way.
Now, so after you finished primary school, where did you go?
Sorry?
After you finished primary school, so after you finished primary school, what school did you go to? Did you go, is that then you went to Serengeti Boys High School, or did that happen later on?
Sorry, I can't get you.
When you finished, after you finished primary school, where did you go then? Did you go to Serengeti then, or did that come after?
After sitting for my grade 7 exams, I was one of those bright pupils at my school. I got about 790 something results, or rather marks. Then instead of going to a secondary school, because by then secondary schools were not yet in the system, we only had high schools. So it was very hard for me to move from a primary school in Chibombo, jumping onto the Werigigi of another school, which could be the nearest was Chibombo High School, but never at the secondary school. So instead, I continued at the same school, and the school I'm talking about in the name of Nachiaba Primary School, only had about 5 classes that could cater for grade 1 to grade 9, including the APUs. So you could see how pestilential, how odoriferous, how malevolent the environment used to be. But be that as it were, I managed to get good points, remained at the same school, studied hard, nothing impeded my future until I got very good marks as well. At grade 9, I was the highest, the whole Central Province, getting as much as 516 points. I was sent to go to Hillcrest, which is one of the highest learning echelon at secondary or high school level. But unfortunately, I couldn't go because my parents were hit by a strong economic wiri or a strong economic chinook or a strong economic Ebola. Therefore, the only school that was a bit manageable in terms of fees was Serenje Boys. But I couldn't think twice because it was a school where the creme de la creme from all faculties of life, from different parts of Zambia, went to. So that as well was a good platform. I couldn't ponder or think twice about going to Serenje Boys.
Can you describe your feeling when you arrived at Serenje Secondary School, so Serenje Boys? So coming from where you'd come from, coming from the village, how did you feel when you got to Serenje? Did you feel out of place? Did you feel this is where I belong?
Of course, a boy coming from the interiors of the typical village setup, I had never mingled with people who could speak English. I had never mingled with people who could talk about role models like their fathers being lawyers, their mothers being teachers, or whatsoever faculty of study they could be unto. So me coming from the village, the only thing that was in my mind was animal hunting, was maybe fishing, and a bit of farming. So it was really, really labyrinthinical and octopoidal. But all in all, let me just say, it was very hard.
And then, so when you got to Serenje then, and when did this idea? Now you're a young boy from Chibombo. When did this idea of I will go to the highest university in the land? When was this born? How did this come about?
I think the funded origo of my success academically has been the mental magnitude. I'm one person that really has a strong mental magnitude. Certain things that I've gone through, when I offload them onto you, they're not things that you can even bear. Within a minute, you can retain my head. Say, I can't never organize it. So the funded origo of that was the mental magnitude, how I could stand firm. There could be moments when my parents couldn't pay school fees for me because they were indigent, they never had money, and being dependent on somebody who's not your mother or your father, but just somebody who is extending their hand within their benevolence just to help you. Sometimes they couldn't manage to pay my school fees, and when you don't pay school fees in high school, you don't pay boarding fee, you don't feed from the dining school. But all in all, certain moments and certain times, I don't like talking much about my life, but it's all to do with the mental magnitude.
So literally, so if you're given a youngster in Zambia now, right now, who are living in that difficult circumstance, that who are growing up in the same circumstances that you grew up in, being looked after by grandparents, who are also looking after a lot of other people and haven't got a lot of money, what is one piece of advice you would give them about life, knowing what you know, going through what you've gone through?
Personally, I managed to bribe my guardians with good results and good character as well. They could reach to an extent whereby even if they never liked me, but my results could bribe their mindset. Look at this boy, he has good results, he has a good character. I'm one boy that has been so nice to people. Wherever I pass, nobody will speak so virulently, so corrosively, so acerbical about me. I've just been so nice to people such that people love me. And my guardians couldn't think twice. Of course, it's not everyone. Other people, other family members, of course, they had their own way and couldn't deem at my educational way as maybe something that would be so concretudinous in the end. But being presented to have a chance to have this boy or this girl before me or before my countenance, I think what I would tell them is just to be strong, believe that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, be focused, be persistent in whatever you do, and tenaciously hold on to your goal. Dreams don't die.
Amazing, amazing. You can write a book about that. There we go. You get a book title in all of that. Now, University of Zambia. So now that's the highest institute in the land. Now you've gone through difficult. So from where you've come from to get to the University of Zambia, did your past make it a lot easier for you? Did the university life, did it make your university life easier, or did it make it difficult? How did you find it when you got to UNZA?
To my side, I would say it was a bit easier because the education system at UNZA and the education system at Serenja Boys are commensurate. What I'm trying to say is that they are tantamount, or they are concomitant in a way or the other. They're identical. So me moving away from Serenja Boys, jumping onto the Welly gig of the University of Zambia educational system, to me was more like just a step over the thing that I was already doing. But all in all, there are things that I also never knew. Again, there you get exposed to different environments. It was my first time learning with a white. I never had a tete to a serious colloquy with a white person. But when I went to UNZA, I had a number of them, mixed races, different races. You talk of the Indians, having a lecturer who is Indian. I remember the SJ in mathematics, having fellow students who are whites and everything. So that was a bit intimidating on my part, I can't lie. But like I said, having a strong mental magnitude, I was able to succumb all that. Rather, I was never able to succumb to all such fear.
Amazing, amazing. And then there's a video that you did, I think it was a year or 2 years ago, and there you talked about how you and your brother, or you were both at university and you were sharing a room and you were never seeing each other. Can you just give us an example? I think for me, it's very important that young people understand this. Now, I've been to university, I understand there's so much hard work that has to go in. Can you just give us an example how much time and hours you used to invest in studying? I think when people listen to you speak and the ways you come out, even as I'm sat here, I'm still marveling at the things that come out of your mouth. But that takes hard work and a lot of study. Just give us an idea of how much work really went on when you were at university.
I put in quite a humongous, or a Brobdingnagian, or in simpler terms, a monolithic or Pantagruelian amount of work since the inquiry of my academic a peregrination or journey. Of course, it's been a poco peregrination, which is a bit by bit a peregrination, and the harum scarum or being impetuous or frivolous hasn't been my portion. So what I'm trying to say is that having a weak mindset hasn't been my portion, and I need to say, for me to reach the state of El Dorado or Epicureanism, I ought to put in my level best. There could be moments whereby, like I said, like you said, we used to share the same room and the same bed with my brother, but we spent about a week without seeing each other. There could be moments whereby he leaves, because my brother is also an anorak. He's a studious person, in simpler terms, very intelligent. Like I said, I get also part of the inspiration from him. There could be moments where he leaves to go study at 5, 6. He goes to study at 5. I wake up at 6. By the time I'm coming back at 24 or 01, I find him sleeping. Seesaw kind of life.
Yeah.
Things up and down. After a week, you'll be greeting each other.
For me, I love that story because it really shows when you're really working on something, the idea that you can actually just go and do what it takes in order to get the things that you really want. Now, in your lives at university, something else comes out of this. And I remember when I saw the infancy of Napsa. And then this is a point, how on earth did that come up? How does that happen? So how do you go from you're just this hardworking student to, oh, I can do comedy as well? How does that come about?
One thing I came to realize, because even today people still wonder, still have questions in the medulla oblongata to say why the pseudonym, why the nomenclature, why the nom de plume Napsa. On that one, I don't know if at all you know that, but let me put it unto you that I used to play football. I played for a lot of Division 1 clubs. I played for Mukushi United. I played for Tazara Express in Kaperi. I played for Mukushi Nilas in Mukushi, that was Division 1. I played for Edu Sport, one of the elite clubs in Lusaka. And the last club I played for was Young Napsa Stars. So when I went to Unza, people never knew my real nomenclature. Instead, they resorted to start calling me by the name of the jerseys that I used to wear from Napsa, because straight away from Napsa, when I entered Unza in my first year, I joined the school team, and people started calling me Napsa, Napsa, Napsa. But as usual, when you go to Unza, they add the appellation VAR to every name. If you're told the way you are Frank, you be called Frankie. When I'm Chilufya, to be Chilufya. So Napsa came to be Napsa. Just coming back to your question, how I jumped onto the ship of comedy. Before getting exposed to the world, Unza knew me very well. People in Unza knew me very well because I used to crack them up in common rooms. Every time we're watching soccer, people couldn't watch soccer from elsewhere. They always used to look for where is Vanapsa. I had a Kabao or a Vodava or a Hoipoloyo of friends in the names of Vakachasa, we had Divaema, we had Divamavini, quite a number of the guys. So every time people could look for us. Barikui Sama guys. When we are not where they expect us to be, they'll keep looking for us until they find us. So people used to get entertained. And time passed, and after putting my nose to the grindstone for a period of iron, I had a serious talk or a colloquy, because I used to have a serious soliloquy inside me. Like, these jokes that we put up in common rooms, people laugh. Why don't we take them elsewhere? I believe people would still laugh, and maybe we can make a pittance out of it. But these guys were not for the idea. Like others could say, no, me, I'm a politician. This one, I'm an engineer. This one, I'm a lawyer. And I said, I can suamoto do it on my own. That is, do on my own, suamoto on my own. I can do it on my own. Then the guys welcomed the idea and said, you can go, you have our support. But truth be told, I never knew that one day I would be this comedian that I am today, because my exposure to society came in a way that I never envisaged. It was a moment whereby I did a video, I talked about unzamomas, why I can't date unzamoma, bamoma bari dura sana, makeup, ngabika makeup kuchinso, arefina 75 kg, ngafunyako makeup, arefina 70 kg, makeup yeka 5 kg. Kumwabo, I remember putting up a joke like, kumwabo, ngaisa ku skulu, mosquito ngamwingirira mu room, ale kutumina phone, baby, come and see, but kumwabo, ewipa ensoka. So that video, I was scared to upload it. So I just uploaded it in a group, where the WhatsApp group of about 7 members from my football team. I posted that video in there with the fear that Nikaiposita Nishina Sevana. Surprisingly, I found it on Zambian Vines, one of the biggest pages we have in the country, with more than 30,000 views. I also found it on Mwebantu. All these big social media platforms had it. And everyone in the morning was shouting, Napsa, 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 Napsa. And I said, this is the advent of an Napsa. I did another one, went viral. Another one about my Chibombo background, equally went viral. I said, this is Napsa. And from there on, I started perfecting my skills. And I've been learning day by day until to what I am today.
It's an amazing, and for me, I remember the first video, the first viral video. So it's kind of amazing to see how much you've evolved in a comedy along that side. And for me, it's been inspirational. So listening to you, you're multi-talented. You were a professional footballer. You went to university. You were academically gifted. You're a comedian, so you've got talent, and you've explored all these talents. And I think it's so important that young people understand being able to explore the talent and being able to have the courage to do the things that they want to do, because it could have been easy for you to say, well, if nobody else wants to do this with me, I'm not going to go and do it, and see how how everything has turned
I
out.
can't get you.
And I say it would have been a lot easier for you to say, well, if nobody's is coming with me, I won't be able to do this. But you went ahead and did it anyway.
I can't get you. Check your sound. Check your sound.
Oh, I can hear you clearly. So this is an interview with Chilufya Kachingwe, aka Napsa. We're going to just see if we can get his network back in a minute. And can you hear me now?
Speak.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you at least.
Good. So I was saying, it would have been a lot easier for you to say, well, if other people won't support this comedy thing, I won't be able to do it. So it just shows having courage to believe in yourself, even though somebody else actually posted that for you and actually opened the door for you. So it's good to have friends like that who can see how important are friends in your life, in what you do, and in things that you achieve. So we're losing Chilufya at the moment, and I'll just add a few things from what he was talking about. So he had an idea. This idea didn't think he can post it, but his friends said they're going to post it for him, and it opened a lot of doors for him. So
Kindly
it's
check your
important.
sound. I can't get you. It's breaking.
I can hear you very clearly. Can you hear me? Can you try and unplug your headset?
I've removed my headsets now, but still can't get you well.
You still can't get me.
Hello?
Banksy, are you still? Hello. Banksy, are you still there? Are you able to jump on?
Okay, I can get you.
You can get me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was saying, how important was it for you to have the friends who were able to post it for you, because you could not have done it? How important was it that you had friends who were able to recognize your talent and being able to share it with the world?
The funny part is when I didn't mention this. 3 days before that video went viral, we had a freshers bash where musicians came. The University of Zambia management or the student union had invited a lot of musicians, with the likes of Shefi, Makitu, Slap D. So they were charging 10 kwacha to enter. But like I said, my financial life has been lame as usual, looking at my background. So I never had that 10 kwacha to pay. So what we did with a group of my friends, we decided to start pushing the guards that were by the entrance that we entered. We managed to push them. 3 days later, my video went viral. And this other friend says, 3 days later, my video went viral. A week after, I had a comedy show and people were lining up to come and hear me and watch me. This other friend follows me and says, you know, when I look at you, I can attest that indeed God is there. 3 days ago, you and I were pushing the guards off the gate so that we could enter. But today, people are paying to come and see you. Very supportive indeed. Unza has always been supportive to me. Unza has always been supportive to me. The management itself as well, they posted me on the Unza network. Unza network is a platform where they only post academic stuff, but my face, my story was there. So I owe kudos and all the encomiums goes to the University of Zambia Populace and Management.
Amazing. It's amazing work. For me, it just shows have the right people and have the right skill. Keep doing what you're doing, and that opportunity will be there for you. Now, this is very important, and this really saddens me when Zambians we start criticizing our own people and our own talents. So, Chilufya, are you able to just tell me how do you feel when you see people publicly criticizing Zambian comedians? What do you think? Do you think I'm gonna carry on doing things the way I'm doing them, or do you feel I have to change the way I'm doing things? How do you respond when people criticize your comedy?
Sorry?
How do you respond when people criticize your comedy?
Come again?
How do you respond when people criticize your comedy?
Oh, unfortunately, I can't get you. I can just hear you saying, how do I respond? I can't get the end part.
How do you respond when people criticize your comedy?
Or people that criticize my comedy. How do I respond to critics?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still the pinnacle of my life has been the strength of my mental magnitude, the mindset that I have. So for me to jump onto the whirligig of comedy, I knew that in everything, people still talk, people still open their mandibular walkabout and usher words of title or vilification or speak from the other side of their mouth. Those are things that, as an artist, as a person that is goal oriented, you ought to envisage. Because when you're doing fine, people will always talk and will always talk negatively, so virulently, so corrosively about you. And those are things that I know. It's more like you, Frank, telling me to say, well, Napsa, you're dark. That will not pain me because I know I'm dark. Tell me something else that I don't know. So for you to come and criticize my comedy, and mostly what I do, when there are people that are criticizing me, I pay much attention to the critics than the good part, because I know to say the critics are the ones that are going to build me. So I use those critics to build a ladder that will take me to the apex, to that enviable height of being a comedian that I've always wanted to be. So use the critics to the positive effect of what you want to do. So somebody waking up and posting bad about me, that will not put me in a state of phantasmagoria. That will not put me in a state of hagamaga or a state of higodi-pigodi, or that will not rabble-rouse me, will not bedazzle me, or will not overflow-mox me. Those are things that I envisage, and I know that people always criticize. And in Africa, mostly it's a tendency. The more enemies you have, the more successful you are becoming. If people don't criticize, then your strides are not moving fast.
Oh, yes, Manapsa. I love the attitude. I love the attitude. And that's where we have to look at life. Let's not focus on what other people are saying and what other people are doing. And in the I brought Napsa on because I wanted to, it's important that we see what other young Zambian people are doing. We talk about youth empowerment. And here's a young man who's working so hard. Here's a young man who's worked himself to be where he is today through hard work, overcome the difficulties. And as Zambians, this is a time we have to start supporting our own, start supporting our hard-working young people. So if anyone has got a wedding, if anyone has got a wedding, we've lost Chilufya. So if anyone has got a wedding that you've got, so Chilufya, some of the things that Chilufya does is a master of ceremony. So if anybody has got a wedding and you need a master of ceremony, always remember you can always contact Napsa. So if anybody's got a wedding, you can always contact Napsa. Napsa, you've got your own Facebook page, haven't you?
Sorry?
You've got your own Facebook page, haven't you?
I can't get you. Can't get you.
Have you've got your own Facebook page? Okay, I will. So if you go on Facebook, you just try to look for Chilufya Kachingwe, you're going to find
Oh,
him there, or you can look for Napsa, the second in command. Napsa, the second in command. So it's important, my friends, that we really support our very own and we support our talents and we talk about youth empowerment. These are young people, these are young man who's worked really hard to take
TikTok,
himself
Chilufya,
where
Napsa,
he is.
Kachingwe. The name that is appearing on the screen, that is my Insta account,
Yeah.
Chilufya, Napsa, Kachingwe. We now have more than 32,000 followers in a month. Doing fine.
Yeah, so if anybody is looking for anybody who wants to be a master of ceremony, there is the man. If we're looking for comedy, there's your man. And for other businesses, those who are in the UK, those who are abroad, or those who are in Zambia who are looking to advertise somewhere and sponsor a talented young man, you can also contact Chilufya as well, and you'll be able to put the advert for your business on his videos. Let us support our young men. Let us support our young women. Let us support our own. If we've got people got talent, let us support that talent. Listen, Chilufya, thank you so much for coming on to TV Bakwetu. For me, it's important we hear stories of inspirational young men and women in this difficult time. It's easy to just think things are going to come to you easily. So it's wonderful that we're able to hear your story, hear what you've achieved, and hear what you're doing. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming on TV Bakwetu tonight.
I bow and tremble, I koto. Thank you so much for according me this time. And in conclusion, let me also again say I strongly commiserate with the families of uh, people that died in Mozambique, in Malawi, and also part of Zambia. We've seen the floods are still ongoing, the weather patterns are bad. So let's adhere and conform to the rules and regulations that have been laid down by the DMMUs of the respective countries. Otherwise, if anybody tries to play capricious or pomposity or behave in a way that is cantankerous, they risk losing their lives or seeing their bodies in the most slippery cockpit of themselves.
Thank you very much. And also, don't forget to also buy some stars. This is what keeps us coming to you and bringing you the programs that we bring. So if you were able to buy some stars, and if you also like, if you want to, you can also be a member of TV Bakwetu by by clicking on the green button. So this has been Thursday Night Motivation with Frank, and I've been privileged to have been joined by Chilufya Napsa Kachingwe. It's been an absolute pleasure. God bless you. God bless our country. And bye-bye for now. But Napsa, don't go yet.
Okay.